Right, everyone, welcome back. We're going to be going over T2, type 2. So type range number 2, right? So this one is we take out liquidity, we break structure, right? We pull back, but fail to take out that low, known as a failure swing or a failed swing point, right? It failed to take out that low, so this will become liquidity. Then it comes into a POI. Then we take that short. Okay, this will be T2 type 2 range. Now, let's get into the logic because everything needs to have sense, some type of logical sense. Okay, so you have to think a little bit. Now, don't overthink, of course, but just think a little bit. All right, so if price makes a retracement and it fails to take out that low, all right, now for the people that don't know this information, now keep in mind, a lot of people don't know the information that you currently know. Right? So a lot of retail traders that don't know this a lot, right? So they don't know it's a failed swing point. Okay. So what's gonna happen? POI, stop loss being trailed down here, right? It turned into a huge liquidity pool. Support resistant traders, all of that. Okay. So this failed swing point gets taken. Now, in the view of the average retail trader, what is this? BOS long. See what I mean? So don't get caught up on that. That's a failed swing point. We're not going to short on this PY. Don't trust it. And again, it's going to give you a reaction. But why do you think it's going to give you a reaction? Exactly, to convince you. All right. Pretty much trying to get you to get in. And then this happens. Just build up more liquidity. It's just engineer liquidity. And then came to external. All right. You're still with me. Now, the question is, how do I know that it's creating a failed swing point? Now, this one's pretty simple. So when price pulls back and before it breaks this low, it creates a QM. If a QM is created before it breaks that major low, then we can consider this a failure swing point. Simple as that. Okay. Again, on any time frame because fractal. All right. Very simple stuff. Now, other questions that you may have is, well, does it create a QM on this time frame or that time frame? These are questions that I personally can't answer, right? But for me, in my experience, depending on the time frame that you're on, let's say I'm in the 15-minute time frame, and then this forms on the 5 or 15-minute, that's more than enough for me to say, yep, that is not going to hold, all right? It just depends. There is no black and white type of scenario with this stuff. It's, we're still in the gray area, but it's giving you a overall idea of what can potentially happen, what we can anticipate. Now, yes, with time, you will get to the point where it just naturally, just you naturally understand it. It's just the intuition at the end of the day. Okay. So, the question again is how am I so confident that these, type one and type two work or that it's going to hit that TP? That's just because of years, that's just practice. But once that QM is formed, that becomes failure swing point. Then look for short. All right. Simple as that. That is type 2. We already went over type 1. This is type 2. All right. So know the differences. So type 1 retraces, break structure once again. That's the trap. Just call it SMT. That's what everybody calls it. That's the trap. Okay. Type 2 is takes out liquidity, break structure, retraces, fails. That's the trap. All right. I'm just call it SMT again here. then take profit, right? Again, it doesn't matter if I show you on the charts or you see me break this down because this is literally what we look for. It's not going to look textbook, okay, at all. So now we're still in the basic area of ranges and stuff like that, so don't worry. All right. So what I need everyone to do is to go on a chart and try to identify T1 and T2. All right. Try to identify it, try to get used to seeing these, build up that experience, gather that data, right? To prove to yourself that this is a thing that happens in the market, that it works, that it's actually there, right? Because you want to feel confident, right? You want to feel confident. You want to trust yourself and say, yep, this is happening. Like this is real. I tested it. I tested it. I gathered enough, data to feel confident enough to take a short from here and here, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be experience. But as simple as T1 and T2. Don't overcomplicate it, right? Now, again, it's not going to look like this textbook. That's why you see some of the images that I put on the previous section. They don't look best. They're not the best ranges, right? Because it's not going to look always textbook. And I don't want you to get the idea in your head that's going to look always perfect. It's not. At the end of the day, it's about the logic. It's about, okay, what's going on in this area, right? So if we break these ranges down, all right, we're pretty much just identifying the trap. And that's the whole point of T1 and T2. Okay, it helps you identify the trap. And it helps you know ahead of time if the trap is here or here, here or here. And by T1 and T2 are mainly the only two type of patterns to repeat over and over again a lot, right? I haven't seen any other type of patterns repeat like this. These two are the only ones with my, years of testing. These two are like the main ones. So I just broke it down into simple terms of T1 and T2, and they look like this. All right. Now, some people may argue that there's maybe different type of patterns, but that's, just on them. This is what I use and this is what I see. All right. And this happens day in and day out. That's probably, why you also seen a lot of the students post on the community, T1 and T2. All right. And this is what they mean, T1 and T2. Okay. Well, that's it for now. On to the next one.